question whether they were ever friends.
Well, we're not friends. We're colleagues, and we'll work to get the team as many 1-2s and points as possible.
So we just got Lewis passing by here now.
From avoiding to go near his rival Nico Rosberg to shouting, "This guy's effing crazy."
It's something. That's so blind, man. Oh, sake. Blind.
Lewis Hamilton disqualified from qualifying yesterday, sent to the back of the grid.
About Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton has shown he's not afraid to speak his mind. Known for his incredible skill and usually calm personality, Hamilton has created many unforgettable moments in F1 history.
Hamilton's had some manners put on him by Kubica, but he comes round the outside. He's also gone round Alonso. Stunning start by Lewis Hamilton.
But even the coolest champions have moments where they lose their temper.
What the is wrong with him? Oh, it's not working. What an unbelievable way. Yeah, that was a good one.
Let's take a closer look at some of the most surprising times when Lewis Hamilton lost his cool.
Final car in place means we get the green flag at the back. Here come the lights in Lusail.
Lewis Hamilton almost quit the Qatar Grand Prix after a tough race. He was frustrated after receiving 2 penalties and suffering a puncture.
Leclerc understeered at the final corner, just couldn't get through, but he dives back on the inside.
The 7-time world champion had a difficult start when he was penalized for a false start.
The incident involving Lewis Hamilton for a potential false start is under investigation.
And then had a puncture.
Puncture for Lewis Hamilton off the road.
Likely caused by debris on the track. Things got worse later when he got another penalty for speeding in the pit lane behind the safety car.
Hamilton speeding 100%.
During the race, Hamilton threatened to retire the car, telling his team to park the car after being informed about the penalty.
Retire the car. Park the car, mate. Negative.
His engineer, Peter Bonington, urged him to keep going. Eventually, Hamilton was convinced to finish the race. Had he retired early, the penalty could have carried over to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Despite the frustration, Hamilton managed to finish 12th after passing 2 drivers.
The Dutch driver will see the checkered flag first, and Max Verstappen cruises over the line.
And he expressed his intent to give it another shot in the final race of the season. Though he has struggled with his Mercedes car, Hamilton is determined to keep pushing. Perhaps one of the most publicized and long-running rivalries in recent Formula One history was between Hamilton and his former teammate, Nico Rosberg.
And it's Nico Rosberg, and Hamilton's onto the grass, and Hamilton's had a massive crash, and he's crashed into his teammate.
The two had grown up together, racing and karting,
31周決勝レース今スタート。トップに立ったのは127番。
playing football, and even riding unicycles. But once they became teammates at Mercedes in 2013, their relationship quickly soured. The tension between the two drivers escalated in 2014, particularly after Rosberg won the Monaco Grand Prix and took the lead in the title race.
The car you're giving me. It's such a pleasure to have such a fast car. I've never experienced that before in F1. And it's so cool.
Hamilton believed that Rosberg should have been penalized for an incident in qualifying, but the stewards cleared him. That weekend marked the beginning of a rift that would only grow wider. "We're not friends," Hamilton declared after the 2014 Monaco Grand Prix. "We're colleagues."
So where do you go from here with Nico, and going into Canada? That's going to be a circuit that does suit the raw pace of the Mercedes, so it's a great opportunity for you guys. But what about in terms of mending bridges with your friend?
Well, we're not friends. We're colleagues, and we'll work to get the team as many 1-2s and points as possible.
The tension between the two was evident both on and off the track, and it was clear that their once friendly relationship had turned into a fierce rivalry. At the end of the season, Hamilton would go on to win his second world championship.
Congratulations, Lewis, 2014 world champion.
But the bitterness between the two continued to simmer. The rivalry ended in 2016 when Rosberg won the world championship in a dramatic final race.
Rosberg is second. He takes the championship 34 years after his father.
Despite being childhood friends, Hamilton was visibly unhappy with Rosberg's success. He struggled to congratulate his teammate and later blamed car issues for not winning the title himself. The 2016 season marked the end of their time as teammates, with Rosberg announcing his shock retirement after winning the title.
I want to take the opportunity to announce that I've decided to end my Formula One career in this moment here.
I can't believe guys me, man. I can't tell you right now.
The 2022 season was one of frustration for Hamilton. Mercedes, a team that had dominated the sport for years, had struggled to keep up with Red Bull and Ferrari. In the Dutch Grand Prix, Hamilton was in prime position to secure his first win of the season, leading the race with just 10 laps to go. But a strategy misstep by the team cost him dearly.
Going to be 20 metres behind for long, and oh dear, George Russell nearly ran straight.
Mercedes decided to keep Hamilton out on the medium tires, while most of the grid dove into the pits for fresh soft tires. As the race resumed, Hamilton found himself slipping down the order, losing positions to Max Verstappen, George Russell, and Charles Leclerc. Frustrated, Hamilton unleashed a fiery tirade over the team radio. "I can't believe you guys effing screwed me, man. I can't tell you how part I am right now," he raged. Later, when speaking to Sky F1, Hamilton admitted that he had been on the edge of breaking point and apologized for his outburst. "I don't even remember what I said. I just lost it for a second," he explained.
There was such an outburst of emotions, so apologies to my team for that, but that's just, also I don't want to apologize in terms of my passion. That's just sometimes how it goes.
The Sao Paulo Grand Prix is underway from the line.
The Brazilian Grand Prix in 2024 was one of those weekends that Hamilton would rather forget. From the moment the race weekend began, everything seemed to go wrong for the 7-time world champion. Struggling to find the right setup, Hamilton's weekend was a series of disappointments. He crashed out in qualifying, barely made it through the sprint race, and finished in a frustrating 10th place in the main race.
Hamilton finds himself out. His 4th career podium.
In the aftermath of the race, Hamilton was visibly upset. He took to the team radio, launching into a tirade. "That was a disaster of a weekend, guys. This is the worst the car has ever been," he snapped.
That was a disaster of a weekend, guys.
With the car I have right now, it's the worst that I've ever driven, so.
The frustration was evident in his voice as he described how the car felt like a plank of wood and complained about the lack of suspension. For a driver of Hamilton's caliber, a weekend that yields such a result can be demoralizing. But his outburst didn't stop there. Hamilton went as far as to suggest that he might quit the season early and take a holiday. "If this is the last time I get to perform, it's a shame it wasn't great, but I'm grateful for you," he said.
If this is the last time I get to perform, it's a shame it wasn't great, but great for you.
Despite this being a rare occurrence, the Brazilian GP meltdown wasn't the first time Hamilton had let his emotions get the better of him. In fact, throughout his career, there have been several other instances where the usually composed driver has lost his cool in spectacular fashion.
Better acceleration out of the slower corners. This could be the lead going for Hamilton. Alonso senses an opportunity. They are side by side down the pit straight in Indianapolis. The two teammates. Hamilton holds his nerve, but Alonso is on the wall.
Hamilton's infamous 2007 season with McLaren saw him clash with one of F1's most fiery personalities, Fernando Alonso. The two drivers were teammates that year, but their relationship quickly soured as Hamilton proved to be a powerful competitor. Despite it being his rookie season, Hamilton was often faster than Alonso, and the Spaniard did not take kindly to the upstart British driver. At the Monaco Grand Prix, Hamilton was instructed to stay behind Alonso and secure a 1-2 finish for McLaren. Instead, he pushed Alonso hard in the closing stages, even attempting to force an error from his teammate. "Absolutely," Hamilton later admitted when asked if he was trying to make Alonso make a mistake. "The only way to get past is to apply pressure."
You know, I'm a racer. I'll keep pushing right into the end.
Try around the outside, but he is going to try the inside of 10.
Yes, let's go.
What's wrong with this picture?
Just him standing on the podium.
We're 8 miles from the center of Budapest. Breezy conditions, warm temperatures, but no immediate...
The tension between the two drivers escalated throughout the season, and by the Hungarian Grand Prix, the situation had reached a boiling point. Hamilton failed to honor an agreement to allow Alonso to pass him during qualifying, and Alonso retaliated by blocking him in the pit lane.
Alonso out. Yep, they want him out of there. Now Alonso's not getting on with it. Only 1 minute and 40 to go. Is he blocking Hamilton here? Is that a bit of a tactic within the team there to give Hamilton a bit of a headache? I think it might well be. That's really up to you now, chum.
The feud between the two was one of the key reasons McLaren's title challenge faltered in 2007, with both drivers finishing the season tied on points, just behind Kimi Räikkönen, who would go on to win the title.
It was the main thing to get past Hamilton, and then I saw in...
Lewis Hamilton's post-race comments after the Singapore Grand Prix gave us a rare look at what goes on behind the scenes in Formula One. For fans of the sport, it's easy to watch the cars zoom by on TV without fully understanding how crucial team strategy is in determining the outcome of a race. It's not just about who has the fastest car or the most talented driver. It's about making the right decisions at the right time. And in Singapore, Hamilton was understandably upset with the choices his team made.
It's just the whole qualifying was pretty poor from my side. Just the car was not the same when I got into qualifying.
Okay. What do you expect of tomorrow's race, knowing the car can have a good pace when you watch George is in pole position, and we see that Mercedes is going faster and faster?
Yeah, Mercedes, the team's doing a great job. Everyone's doing such a great job with developing the car, and it's great to see us have performance back on us again. And I think, congrats to George. I'm sure he'll do a good job tomorrow.
You can see your frustration now. What is going through your mind?
Not too much. Looking forward to going home.
Let's break it down. The strategy in question revolved around tire choice, something that might not sound dramatic but can make or break a race. Hamilton started the race on soft compound tires while the rest of the top 10 went for the medium compound. Now what's the big deal? To put it simply, soft tires give you more grip but wear out faster. Medium tires, on the other hand, are more durable but take a little longer to warm up to their optimal performance. For a race as grueling and physically demanding as Singapore's night race at Marina Bay, tire management is everything. During the team meeting before the race, Hamilton was already skeptical of the plan. He questioned why Mercedes wanted to split the strategies between him and his teammate, George Russell, when they were starting so close to each other on the grid. Typically, splitting strategies makes sense when one driver is starting further back, giving the team a chance to hedge its bets. But in this case, Hamilton was starting third and Russell was fourth. So why complicate things? Hamilton didn't mince words when discussing his feelings about the decision. "I battled as hard as I could to fight to go on the medium tire," he explained, "but the team continued to suggest that I started on the soft." You could almost hear the frustration in his voice when he added, "And then, when they took the tire blankets off, everyone was on mediums." Imagine being in his shoes, seeing all your competitors on a different tire strategy and knowing deep down that you're at a disadvantage before the race even starts. And the disadvantage became clear almost immediately. While the soft tires gave Hamilton great grip at the start, they wore out much faster than the medium tires on the cars around him. By lap 17, he was forced to pit and switch to hard tires, which are even more durable but notoriously difficult to heat up and manage on a track like Singapore.
Well, Hamilton pits. His teammate George Russell might be thinking about pitting too, because Oscar Piastri
races. He really wanted a good result here. Went bad from lap one, didn't it, Crofty, and got worse.
From that moment, Hamilton admitted he knew his race was essentially over. "I was so angry," Hamilton said, reflecting on the race. "From that moment, I'm frustrated. I tried my best to keep up with the guys ahead, but they were too fast." And that's the thing about Formula One. Once you fall out of sync with the optimal strategy, it's incredibly hard to recover. Even a driver as talented as Hamilton can't overcome the limitations of a car that's not working with him. So how did this play out in the race? Hamilton, who started in third, ended up finishing sixth, a far cry from where he hoped to be. Meanwhile, his teammate George Russell, who started fourth and was on the more favorable medium tire strategy, finished in fourth place.
Season across the line, 1-3 for McLaren.
Well, mate, good job.
Yeah, lovely job.
It's not hard to imagine how frustrating that must have been for Hamilton. Here's a driver who has won more races than anyone else in the history of Formula One, sitting there knowing that a different choice could have kept him in contention for the podium. But Hamilton wasn't just frustrated with the tire strategy. He also pointed out that the car itself had been a challenge all weekend. Mercedes has made strides in improving its performance this season, but it's clear that the W15 isn't yet at the level of Red Bull or even Ferrari in certain conditions. "We'd been struggling with the balance of the car all weekend," Hamilton admitted. "We got a good qualifying, but unfortunately, the race was too much of a struggle for us." If you're a fan of Hamilton or Mercedes, it's hard not to feel a bit disheartened by weekends like this. But it's also worth remembering that Formula One is a team sport, and mistakes, while frustrating, are part of the game. Every decision from tire strategy to car setup involves countless variables and predictions. Sometimes the gamble pays off, other times it doesn't. So what's the takeaway here? Formula One is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. We would love to hear your thoughts on this, so please do so in the comments below and subscribe for more.
Wins the German Grand Prix.